Once you've created a project in the system, you're going to want to add some tasks. Some tasks is going to be the billable information for time tracking within the system. To do this, you can do it a number of ways. You can go to tasks and events, and from tasks and events, you can create any new project across any task. Or if you're within a project already, you can go to the top right and click plus, and from here, create a task on the fly. It will automatically fill in the company and the project name if you're already on a project screen. What it will ask you to put in is the task type, and these are task type that you have set up in the system or have imported in from QuickBooks Online. By selecting one of these items, it will automatically fill in any type of expense amount or pricing as related to any of these items as it pertains to what you have set up in configuration for what comes over from QuickBooks or what you've set up in the system. After you've decided on which task type it's going to be, you will give a title for this task. The title is a summary title that will actually carry over to the customer portal as well as show on invoicing when you send the information. So this could be an initial meeting. And we can go ahead and say that it's due on Wednesday. And we can give it an estimate. We require an estimate on everything, and this is for a budget versus actual reporting that will be added into the system at a later time. But it lets you know for this initial meeting how long you think that it will take. This will also help you in your calendaring of events later on. If you set it as fixed hours and you select this box, what that means is no matter how long of an activity or a time that an employee spends on this particular task, it will only be able to be billed at that fixed hours. So if I put 1.5 and say it's fixed hours, no matter how much time or activity is posted to this task, 1.5 is all that's able to bill. If you want to just estimate but allow it to actually go over, then you would make sure that you do not check the fixed hours. We'll get into expensed amount and third-party expenses on the later video. By default, the assignee is going to be your office staff that's assigned to this task. It will default to whoever you're logged in as. You can also add additional users in this blank by just clicking them, and they will have their own time entries selected. For documents, you can select documents that are currently available on the project. They will actually show up here, and you can assign them to a task. The reason for this is that some users are not able to see project level documents, but if they're assigned to a specific task, you can allow them to see those specific documents by allowing them to be selected within the task itself. The description is an internal description. Once again, these labels can be changed across the entire system under configurations, but what you do need to know is the description is utilized internally for information about the activity and tasks that you're doing at this time. So for a description for this, we will just say after you've entered in all of the required fields, all you need to click is create. When you click create, any of the people that were assigned to that specific task will be emailed or text messaged that they have been assigned to the task. When you look at the task in the system, you will see all the task information as well as the assignees of who in the company received that email. Since I'm logged in currently under my account, I did not get a text message or an email because I'm the one that has created it. But if you had assigned other users, they would receive the emails. You can see on this task that the document that I assigned is linked over to it, as well as some action items. These action items will allow me to see the document, download the document, or provide sharing for this document to other users internally and externally within the system. Up in the top right, you have the statuses of a task. The statuses of a task have to do with billing of that task and the ability to actually add additional activity time to the task. By default, it's set as new. New means there has been nothing attached to the task, there has been no time entry attached to the task, and you can still make modifications. This is where you would check your work and make sure everything's good to go. Now, if I came in and I actually said that I wanted to go ahead and add some activity to the task, which would come in and actually show that I've added hours onto the task, I would just come in and I could start the timer. You could see that it already is going to fill in the information, and it's going to allow me a title. Once again, these titles are what shows up on the invoice when you're invoicing the client. So that's something that you want to keep short and a summary of what you've done, with the description at the bottom always being something that's kept internally. So if I set this as an internal meeting, I can either come in right now and I can set the number of hours, or I can start it with a timer. So you can see that if I go ahead and enter in a number of hours, it makes me submit directly rather than starting the timer. But if I leave this as a 0, I can submit this with the timer. When I submit with a timer, what it does is it starts the timer going, and it will only allow the logged in person to be in one timered task at a time. So I could come in and create other tasks, but for right now, for booking my time, this would be if I wanted to start it right when we started the meeting and end it when I'm done with the meeting, so it would keep an accurate calculation of the time that I've spent on this task. The other thing that you can use with this is it makes it very easy to keep going around in the system, doing other things, taking notes while the timer is still going. If I was on a mobile device, it works the exact same way. The timer is still going. I can close the window, come back, and as I log back in, I can finish up my time then. There is a configuration setting for the company that we default what that minimum time can be. Some people want to do 15-minute minimums. Some people do 30-minute. Some employees do 1 hour, or some attorneys will do 1 hour minimums. So depending on the type of business you have and your billing structure, you can set that in configuration. So I'm going to go ahead and select, and you can see I can pause that timer if I go off work, and then I can come back to it and I can restart, and it just starts where we picked it up. As soon as I'm ready to save it, I can click the save button. This will ask you if you want to update the status as completed. For now, I'm going to say no, because I'm probably going to be posting some additional time to this during this demo. Now let's go back to that task that we actually had just created. As you can see, it's not in the new section anymore. We go to in progress, and it's sitting here in the in progress meeting. You can see it's this one that we created right here, and it was updated 1 minute ago. The default time, even though I had only had a minute or two that was set on it, it defaulted to 0.25 hours, and that is my company default, that I would never bill less than 0.25 hours for something that I've been doing. If I click in on that, you can now see I have activity as the internal meeting for myself at 0.25 hours. And you can also see that the total hours for this task has been calculated here for you. The reason for that is you could have multiple activity entries or time entries within the system across multiple employees, and then it will add it up for the actual time entry. So right here, I can actually come in and let me create another time entry. And this time entry is going to be just me putting it in. I'm going to say this was 1 hour meeting after break. And you have to give it a title or it's not going to let you do anything. Submit direct. And now you can see as the task gets updated, it's got both entries, 1 hour, 0.25, adds up to 1.25, and all of your linking to within the task, to the project, and to the company is all set for you.